In today's tutorial, we are making a guardian farm. I will show you how to easily find the spawning spots, block them, and set up trident killers so you can use a looting 3 sword to get you more than 30,000 drops per hour, and you'll also go from level 0 to 30 in just over 1 minute. Let's go. So as far as materials needed, here are all the building blocks. Anywhere you see me use glass, this is how much glass that I used. This is how much other building blocks that I used. Of course, these blocks can be whatever you want. They don't have to be these specific blocks. Also, as far as other bits and pieces you're going to need, it's really not a lot. You can do anywhere from 10 to 40 pistons. You'll see that later. 10 to 40 tridents. You'll see that later. You can really even do less. I'll explain it a little bit. And as far as the storage system and all the other components that I use here throughout the video, this is it. But first, you have to find an ocean monument. Any monument will be fine. And in fact, I have one right over there. So first thing, once you find your ocean monument, you're going to have to get rid of the Elder Guardians. Now, they're going to be one right in the top right here. And then you're going to have one over here. If you go like down into here, is he on the outside of this room? He's on the outside of this room right there. And then over on this side, if you pop yourself in, you'll find the third one. They always have 3 Elder Guardians. They're always in the same location. If you want to know how to fight and kill one or raid one of these things, it's not really that hard. Check out my Bedrock guide series. In season 1, I show you how to raid one of these ocean monuments and kill these guys. It's actually quite easy. The hard part of this is actually going to be having to kind of fight and deal with the guardians blasting their laser beams at you. So I would recommend having decent armor and always being aware of your surroundings, especially when laser beams are pointing at you. But without further ado, let's show you where to start placing some blocks, because first you have to figure out your spawning spots. So these ocean monuments, they have a total of 25 spots. And once you know how to find them, they're actually incredibly easy to find every single one of them. I'm going to show you how to find them, and I'm going to show you how to shut all of them off, so that way these little guys won't be shooting laser beams at you anymore. And what you're going to want to do is come to the center here, and you want to find the positive X, positive Z corner of the monument. So what we'll do is we'll just kind of wiggle around a little bit. If we move in this direction, you see the negative 680. It is going in the positive direction. That means this is the positive side right here of this monument. Now, this right here is going to be the positive X. So you see, the X is moving up, 763, 764. X is moving up, negative 681, negative 679. It's going +1 each time. So this is my positive side. Some people will tell you this is the southeast side. If you like using the cardinal directions, that's fine. Positive X, positive Z is a lot easier for everybody else to figure out. So that's how I'm going to be referring to it in the video here. So what we want to do next is we want to go 15 blocks in each direction. So I'm just going to do one for you right now. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. The 16th block, that's a spawning spot. We're going to repeat this for all 4 sides. Okay, now once you have all these 4 sides done, we're going to go out each direction and find our next spots. So we're going to go in the positive direction. It could be positive Z or positive X. It doesn't matter. We're going to go this way. It's taking us in the positive Z direction. And we're going to go out another 9 spots. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9. On the 10th spot, that is a spawning spot. I'm going to go the other way, the negative direction, and I'm going to go out 10 spots. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. The 11th spot, that is your spawning spot. Bear with me here because I will show you a visual grid of this in a little bit. So we're going to come back to the center. We're going to go in the positive direction, positive X this time. We're going to go out the 9 spots and the spawn spot. And we're going to go in the negative direction, and we're going to go out 10 spots. 10. There we go. So now we have our grid pattern laid out, because that's how they spawn. They spawn in a grid. So everywhere that these spawn spots intersect, that is where a spawning location will be. So I can just simply just come out just like this, and I can see this is where we intersect with this line and this line. This is a spawn spot. I can come out further, this line and this line. This is a spawn spot as well. And now what you're going to see is we have the grid pattern filled in. Everything lines up perfectly. Hopefully you guys understood how to do that. It should not be too hard. And the graphic that I throw up on screen should help you out with it. But you're going to notice something else too. I've gone through and I've made them all pillars that go all the way down, not just to the monument itself. As you can see, like I took it all the way down. I took this one down a pretty decent ways. You don't need to go below Y30. I don't remember the exact coordinate, but they won't spawn down below Y30 for sure. And you can see here, I did the same thing. Here, I did the same thing. So we took these pillars down because we're blocking all of the guardian spawn spots. As you can see, if I go to settings and I have it on hard difficulty right now, there are no spawns occurring. If I take this down even just 2 spots for a couple of these pillars here, and I back myself up, what you'll see here in a moment is that the guardians are going to spawn in those locations because those are now valid spawn spots. The whole pillar is not taken up all the way. And there we go. Some spawned right here. Where'd they go? They just dove straight down. If we have them all blocked all the way up and down, we do not have to worry about any spawns happening. I'd go ahead and kill those guys. I don't need them here anymore. And now we need to decide how many spawn spots we're going to actually use for this farm. Now with this particular farm, we're going to use trident killers. And through my testing, I found that the magic number for me is 10. 10 spawning spots works the best for the amount of effort that you have to put in. But you should know, if you want to, once you see how I do 1 spot, you can start out with just 1. And then you can add the second one later. You can do just 4 spots if you want to, because they're close together and they're kind of easy. If you really want to go crazy, you can do the whole farm. In my estimation, it's probably not worth it. If you do just the 10 spots, you'll get about 30,000 drops per hour. If you do all like 25 of them, you're not going to be that much higher than that. You're probably maybe 40,000. Most of you guys will honestly probably be okay with just 4, but we're going to do 10 because I think 10 is a good like maximum point to do. Okay. So now we got to figure out what 10 are we going to do? Well, they do kind of group together good, right? We got 4, we got 4, and we got 2. So we could do this side, this side, this side, or this side. So it doesn't really matter which one you pick. I think for aesthetic purposes, I like the fact that since this is the front of it, it'll just like feel balanced if we put it in the back here. So we're going to pick and work with these 10 spots. Now to visualize this for you guys, I'm going to show you the 2 sides that this guardian can kind of spawn on when you set up your spawning chamber. It's going to be the negative sides. It would either be this way or this way. So we're going to look to make these guardians spawn on either side of any of these blocks. And just so you understand the general flow of how things are going to work, we're going to be killing the guardians at each one of their locations, but then we're going to be taking their drops and their XP and we're going to be filtering it towards the center and then moving it this way and then moving it up. Okay, I just want you to understand the flow. It'll come this way and then it'll go over this way some, and then it'll go up in the air. So knowing that, I kind of like this spot right here for this side because it's already pointed in this direction, which is good. And then that probably means we'll use these for this side just because it kind of like all lines up good, right? So that being said, what we're going to do is I'm going to show you how to make one chamber. We're actually just going to start out with the chambers first. Okay. So these chambers are really easy. I'm going to put the glass down first just to kind of show you guys, but then I'm going to like actually explain to you what's happening and why it's happening. Cause I think it's important to know. It's going to help you troubleshoot if anything goes wrong, or if you want to modify things to make things work on your own. What we're going to do is we're going to go down 1, 2, 3, 4 should be good. We're going to go down 4 blocks underwater and we're just going to put like a little like bottom on this for now. I'm going to get rid of this guy. I can also get rid of the water in here. That can all go. I do need to block off the backside here. And this block right here, this is the block that the guardians like to spawn on. So what we're going to do is we want to make it so they can spawn. So we're going to go down 2 blocks just like this. And then we're going to put a button right here like that. All right. We're going to put water right here in this spot. That's the only spot it needs to be in right there. And then we want to make this a cave spawn spot. I'm not sure if that's the exact mechanic that's being used that makes this work faster, but I know if you put a block above the spawn block right here, it makes the farm work a lot faster. So go ahead and make sure you put a block right there, right above your pillar. This thing is not only ready to spawn guardians, it's going to push them off of the edge and just drop them right here. They're going to sit right there. So let's just back up and let's make sure it works. One thing I always suggest that you do is kind of back up from things every time you do one step and make sure you've done that step right. Just like we did with making sure our pillars were all in the right spots and blocking spawns. Now we're going to make sure that this is actually going to spawn guardians, push them over and drop them into that little chamber. Since it's the only spawn spot available, it may take a moment. I'm going to use a kill command to get rid of the extra mobs in the area. As you can see, we did do that. And you see, we're getting a little bit of issue there. He likes to jump up and push these guys back. So you know what that means? We're going to here. Let me kill these guys. Let me get them out the way. We're going to go down 1 more block because we want to do everything we can to make sure that this farm is as efficient as possible. So we just lower this thing down by 1 more block, just like that. I don't think I have water in here. No, I don't. And now if we back ourselves up, should have one spawn, drop down in there, and there be like no resistance to the next one dropping down. And there we go. They spawned in. As you can see, they all moved over and dropped down. That's exactly what we wanted to see. So we know that this thing is all good. Now, for now, I don't want any more spawning in here. So I'm just going to cover that up. And you'll want to get down there and kill those guys. Now, those of you that are extra observant, you may be thinking about, well, drowned spawn down in the water. So am I going to have to spawn proof this whole area? Am I gonna have to do something to keep drowned from spawning everywhere over here? The answer is no, but a little bit of yes. We're gonna go over spawn proofing a little bit later. It's gonna require that you do something to spawn proof roughly half of the monument itself. That's it. Okay, so I have all of my pods in now. And again, I recommend you double check everything before you move on to the next step. You may even want to go as far as actually testing each spawning spot, because I accidentally didn't count far enough down this way by 1 when I was counting it. Don't worry, everything that was earlier in the tutorial I said correctly. I miscounted by 1. And I noticed that I had some guardians spawning over here. So I went through, I moved the pillars over 1 because I recounted myself. I found the right spot. I put the pillars back up. I stood back and watched for a while. Nothing spawned. And I went through and I tested these 2 spots. So if I go back here, I back up some, as you can see, they're spawning in here properly. So just let that be a lesson to you that anybody can very easily mess this up. All it takes is a small miscount. So go through and just like check all of your spots before you move forward to the next spot, because you don't want to go through and build the trident killers and all that kind of stuff and the platform and everything, and you find out that you have to shift everything over by 1. Okay, so the next part we're gonna do, this is probably the most time consuming part. We need to clear out a little bit of water. So I'm gonna kind of like show you what to do, right? I'm gonna make this easy. This is gonna clear out a little bit more water than you probably need to, but it's gonna get you where you need to be, and it's easy to explain. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to come down to this block where these guardians are going to be falling. I'm going to go 1 block below that. I'm going to come out 2. I'm going to go to the outside of this and the outside of this. And all we're going to do is we're going to box in this whole area just like this. And this is going to be our floor level. We're going to go all the way around. Come to the back side here. We're going to clear this section. And this right here is not only going to be your floor, it's going to be your outer wall, and you're just going to take it all the way up to surface level. You don't need to go any higher than that. So just go ahead and fill in this whole area, make your floor, make your walls, and then we're going to have to clear the water out of the middle. If you're enjoying today's video, help it get discovered by more people by clicking the like button and leaving a comment. Also, if you enjoy my videos, click the subscribe button, join my Discord channel, and become a channel member by clicking the join button. Members get awesome perks, including access to my members only Minecraft servers. Now back to the video. Okay, so now we kind of have our cage here, but it's all full with water. So you could take a lot of different ways to get rid of the water. Use whatever you think works best for you. Some people like to get sand right here. We can take sand and we can just kind of drop it down and fill up the area. It'll take a little bit of time to do. My recommendation for this will probably be, if you haven't already, raid this whole monument, find the room with the sponges in it. Get the sponges. You have to dry them out, which you can either do by going into the Nether and just placing them down on the ground, going into a desert and placing them down on the ground, or have a couple furnaces with you and run them through the furnaces. While those sponges are drying out, go through and start to segment this place off. So go ahead and just do a line of blocks right down the middle and make yourself a little wall, and then go ahead and break it into smaller segments. Maybe something like this would be good. Don't make the segments too big because it's going to be a little bit harder to clear out the water. And then from there, take yourself some sponges and then soak this thing up from top to bottom. You should be able to do something like this. You may need to use a few, but as you can see, what was that? 4 sponges? Not too bad. 4 sponges. We got everything except this little like column right here, which you could just fill in. I'm just gonna use a sponge because I'm in creative mode, but you can go through here and very easily knock out all the water in this area and then make yourself another little section and then just do the same thing. Rinse and repeat. Okay, now that we have the entire area all cleared out, it's time to actually make the chambers. And making the chambers is really not that hard. What you can do is go to any one. Again, you could do this with just 1. I recommend doing 2 at a time just because the way they're going to connect together though. Doing 1 would require some modifications, but you don't have to do all 10 at a time if you don't want to. So come over to one of these guys and go out 1, 2, 3, and 4. 1, 2, 3, and 4. What you should see is they meet in a little like center area like this. Now we're going to end up pulling the guardians out in this direction. and in this direction. So just to make it easier for you guys to see the chutes for all of this part, I'm going to use a different color glass, just like this, to show where the guardians are coming through. I'm going to knock this glass out because I don't need it anymore. I'm going to bring this over here. I'm going to do the same thing on this side. So our guardians, they're going to come in, they're going to meet right in the middle right here. And I'm going to take a trap door right here, face it down, put another one against that one, face it down. And this is actually going to stop the guardians from falling down here. They're going to kind of wash down this way. And I can even put the water in right here, just as demonstration. Water goes right there, comes all the way down and stops. Water goes right here, comes all the way down here and stops. I need to cover off this backside, so we'll put a couple of blocks right there. Let's cover this part up here. And then we're going to end up creating a water flow that's going to come from here and go over. And what's going to happen basically is these guardians that drop in here, they're going to die about right here. Some might die back this far, and they're going to drop their item or their experience points, and it's going to come and it's going to drop right there. And then we're going to take that and we're going to bring it further down like this. So you can kind of see the water flow and the way things happen, right? Again, say a guardian dies right there. There he comes, just like that. Now, how do we kill these guardians? Well, we are going to need pistons. And this is another part that you guys are going to be able to kind of build on as you go. You don't have to do it all right away. So if you're just going to start with just a single piston, you're going to put it right here on the edge. You're going to put two. Put one right here, right there, like that. And we need to cover this part. We can also cover this part. So you can kind of see we have a piston line up with this block right here, one line up with this block right here, and we're going to use these pistons to kill our guardians. I'm going to throw a trident right here at the edge, throw it at the glass, right? Throw it right here. And although it's not necessary, it just makes me feel safe that the tridents won't move, even though they don't move away. We're going to put the blocks there just as like extra safety. Now we're going to need to make a clock, and I'm going to make it here right now, but just because I want to show you guys just these two units working. But later I'm going to probably move it more towards the center. But we're going to use a very basic clock here. It's just a comparator clock. You're going to need a comparator, a repeater, and some redstone dust, and a lever. So super simple. I'm going to do a comparator, just anywhere is fine. Right here is okay. I'm going to make a little loop of redstone like that. I'm going to put a block here and a lever. This is going to turn it on and off. As you can see, the comparator has to be in subtract mode for it to be a clock. And then I need to come out at least a couple of pieces of redstone. I think even one will work. You see, if we put that there, that flickers. That's perfect. That's exactly what we need. If you put it right here, it's going to lock. So just keep that in mind. And then we just need to power these. So to power them, probably the best thing to do is we'll put some solid blocks right here. We need a place to run a redstone dust across, and maybe we just need a way up, right? So what we're going to do is we're going to come over here. We're going to do this. We're going to put that down. We cannot have it on one tick. It has to go slow enough. I'm going to show you why. Let me turn this off. Run a redstone over and across. Right now, at this speed, it's moving them so fast that the trident actually doesn't fall down far enough to hit the guardians. So it needs to be on 3 ticks, not 2 ticks, 3 ticks. Let me show you what happens. We're going to actually bring our guardians in real quick. Going to break this glass, put water right here. Remember, this is our spawn spot right there. We can cover that back over. Same thing over here. And if we back up far enough, you got to get at least 25 blocks away. We should see here in a moment, guardians start to spawn. Look, there they are. And you see what's happening is those guys, they pack spawned like 6 of them. That's nuts. You see they're getting hit. As they get hit, the experience points come out via the water, as does the drops. Now this guy, he's swimming against the current. That's just going to happen sometimes. Don't worry, I have a fix for that too. And that's how our guardians spawn in and die. Now, I said earlier that you only need to have one of these here for now. But ideally, if you want to get the maximum rates from this, you're going to want 1, 2, 3, and 4 of them going across. So it's going to require 4 tridents and 4 pistons for the fastest rates. Again, not required to do it to work the farm, but it's just going to help your farm work faster. So just put down a few additional tridents just like this, and just add the tridents in as you get them. You don't have to start out with 10 billion tridents. You can just start out with a 1 trident for each pod. As you can see, I'm going to turn this thing back on. Oh, I'm not going to turn it back on because we need to adjust things here. There we go. That should do the trick. Put that on 3 ticks, run the redstone dust up. And then from here, now I can turn it on. You can see we have all the pistons and all the tridents moving. For those of you that aren't familiar with trident killers, the durability of the tridents does not matter. It can be just like a sliver of durability. It can be full. They don't lose durability when they hit the mobs. Second, if you're wondering if impaling 5 will help kill the guardians faster, the answer is yes. Yes, it will. So if you have the ability to get impaling to put on the tridents, it will make the farm work faster. Now, the reason we're bringing the tridents all the way out here like this, it's not as much because we want to hit the guardians more to kill them faster. It's because when you have, like you saw earlier, 5 of them spawn, they take up this whole tube and then they take a while to kill. So if we do this, hopefully we'll see a pack spawn come in. There's 1, 2, 3. So again, all 3 of them were getting hit. So this is going to kill them faster. The faster you kill them, the sooner more can spawn. So that's why we're trying to kill them as fast as possible, because it's going to make our farm work faster. So again, start with 1 piston and 1 trident if you need to, or do all 4. It's totally up to you. But this little process right here, minus the clock, don't remake the clock. I'm going to show you how to do the clock here in a second to go to all of them. Remake this chamber with your preferred amount of pistons and tridents for all of the spots that you want to do. Okay, we do now have everything in for the chambers themselves. Also, I would be amiss if I did not mention, because I forgot earlier, that I got this trident killer design, specifically the mechanic of being able to hit them through like the edge of the corner like this, from Golden Helmet. Golden Helmet is a community member to probably a lot of communities, and he is a moderator on the Minecraft bug tracker site. So Golden Helmet, thank you very much for this. I appreciate it. I just went a little bit further than what he did, and then added in some more of the pistons here, and I kind of changed how I routed the guardians and the drops and how I like filter them all together. But the idea came from him. I don't know if he got it from somebody else originally or not, but thank you again, Golden Helmet. I do appreciate it. But now we need to go through and we actually need to connect all these together. So the first thing we want to do is make sure everything's connected together in a little line, right? So I'm going to make sure that we run everything in a straight line. Now, don't worry about how we connect these lines together, because we're going to do that together too. Get yourself some packed ice, and you're going to want yourself some buttons to be able to stop water flow wherever you need to stop it. And our water's going to flow this way, but we do know that we're going to have water right here that flows in this direction, like down here, right? So I know that we want to keep any of this water from flowing back in this direction. So we actually need to put a button right here, and that will make it so the water only flows that way, right? Again, we want everything to come towards the center. That flows it this way, but we need to get these drops in XP over to here. So what we can do is we can cut this one off a little short, maybe put a button right here. And then everywhere we have a button, we need ice. So we do that. And then we put one there, one here. Now, as those drops come through, they'll kind of scoot across here, and then they're going to hit a new water source right here. And then just the same as we did over there, we want to put ice under the button and before the button. Now, watch what happens if I kill these guys. I'm going to do the not so sophisticated way right now of just doing this. You can see our drops, they made it all the way down. Imagine if this is how your farm worked and you had to just sit here and do this to kill stuff. Okay, so now all the water is in everywhere. You can kind of see how the flow works. Make sure all your water's good, because if you don't make sure, you're going to have items get stuck, right? So we can kind of follow the flow. We see everything is flowing in this direction. We get here, everything is flowing in this direction. Still flowing, and it kind of meets here at this little middle point that we've carved out for our eventual little like chute that we're going to make to go straight up in the air. If we go from the other side, again, we're kind of double checking everything, right? I want to get that in your guys' heads, that way you don't have any problems. Follow the water flow, and here we end up right here, which is perfect. And you can even kind of test things out, right? If I throw this comparator right here, I go all the way down here, I throw this repeater right here, what we should find is eventually it makes its way right over to here. So we know just by a simple test that our system works the exact way that we intended it to. Now we need to be able to turn this thing on. So we need to get some redstone in. This will probably be the best place, like somewhere right in here, I think, right? So let's go ahead. Let's put our solid block down. Let's put this in. Let's go ahead and put our little clock together, and we can see that that works, right? We'll bring the redstone over by 1, and then we'll put in our repeater. We'll put it on 3 ticks. Again, we'll check again. Works fine. We're going to run our redstone, I think, on top of all this. So let's go through and let's just actually add in some kind of a top. By the way, all these places where you guys see me using glass, I'm just using it so it's easy for you guys to kind of see where everything is going. You don't have to use glass in these spots if you don't want to. You can use solid blocks, like any kind of decorative block. Whatever you want to do there is fine. The glass just makes it easy to see everything, and I like seeing stuff anyways. I like to see it happen. Oh, I picked up a trident right here, didn't I? And I make sure all of our tridents are in place. Oh, look, I flew over this whole row. I think we're all good. We'll double check everything before we get started. But now we're going to take our redstone. We're going to get it up to this little center line, and we're just going to run it all the way down. Connect all those. Go your other way. and connect all these together. Now you'll see when you turn it on, obviously it doesn't reach everywhere. So we can see we're not reaching this one. Let's throw in a repeater like right here. It's reaching down here, but not reaching all of them. Let's throw in another repeater right here. Let's follow this down. So your redstone makes it to about here. So let's throw in a repeater. It powers all those. Makes it to somewhere in here. Let's throw in a repeater. Now, as you can see, all of our tridents, when we want them bouncing, they're bouncing. Remember, do not make this thing go faster. This speed right here is what you want. Now, at this point, if you want to, it is safe to allow your guardians to start spawning. So let's turn on all of our chambers. Let's go ahead and put water into each one of them. And we should see guardians starting to spawn. And look, there they go. There they go. Look at them. And see how they're all stacked across there? This is, again, why... Look at this. Look at how fast we get to kill all these guys now. We don't have to wait for them just to get to the end. That's why it speeds up this farm so much. You probably don't want to leave this thing on while you're doing your building because it's going to overflow you with items and experience points. So instead of doing that, just leave it turned off. It's fine that they spawn in there. They can't hurt you. You can't hurt them. Everybody can live fine together. But now I want to show you guys how you figure out where do you need to AFK for this farm to work. So like I said earlier, most of you guys, you're playing on simulation distance 4, which means you need to be at least 25 blocks away from these spawning spots, but not more than 44 blocks away. And just so you can kind of visualize that, I'm going to use this markers pack that's made by Foxy No Tail. It's really great. You can get it from his website. I highly recommend that you get it if you're on PC or mobile. It's actually showing us the spawning sphere. So if I was standing right there, as you can see, these spots, they're inside of the green zone. They won't be spawnable. These spots inside of the green zone, they won't be spawnable. These are outside of the green, but inside of the red. So they can spawn there. That's good. If you're just doing, say, 4 of these, let's say we were standing like right here and we just wanted to get these spawn spots right there. Look, we're good. So you could just kind of stand off to the side and you're good to go. Kinda. We're going to talk about spawn proofing because another thing we have to worry about is all of this red area outside of here drowned and spawn all of this area. And that's not good because drown, they're going to slow down your spawn rates. So what we're going to do to prevent that is we're going to go up as high as we possibly can to where all of these spots are active. So let's go up about 30 blocks. I don't remember the exact height for this, so we're just going to kind of look together and you guys can get an idea of how it all works. So here's Y level 90. If we go down, obviously this little green sphere, like we're good. Like we can spawn stuff all through here. What we need to make sure is that the red sphere doesn't like cover over these spots. We're going to leave it at 90 because we want a little bit of wiggle room to be able to move around up here and still have all the spots work. Now, if I go underwater, unfortunately, it's going to make the pack disappear, but we can kind of see by looking here just to show you guys where we need to spawn proof. And it's not a lot. It's this whole half of the temple or monument, and that's it, really. But we do need to spawn proof it. So there's a couple ways that you can do that. So the easiest way is actually just going to be light. You could take something like a sea lantern or glowstone or the mushroom. What is it called? The shroom light. Whatever's easiest for you to get. And I would just like periodically place these blocks every so often. The drown, they do require a light level of 0 to spawn. So you don't have to put them incredibly close together like you used to have to do back in the day. So making some type of like grid pattern like this to just light all of your areas up should be good enough. And this is going to be the preferred or easiest way to do it. And I've gone through this point, and it's always a good idea to do this too. Go a little bit further than you think you need to. That way, if you're walking around up there, if you miscalculate something, you have yourself a little bit of extra breathing room. But if you do about 3/4 of the monument and maybe just one ring on the outside of it, depending on how high the terrain is, like especially this terrain, I was a little worried because it kind of sits a little higher. This should take care of all possible spawning spots, and we will no longer get drowned. Another way you can do it if you really want to, drowned cannot spawn in what the game considers caves, meaning underneath the blocks. So you could also just build yourself a big platform like that goes out, you know, about this far, goes out far enough to cover half the monument on this side, which is a decent amount. You're gonna have to use a decent amount of blocks to do this. But you bring it out about this far, maybe come out this way a little bit, right? And you just build like this big, like rectangular platform around your farm area. That'll work too. But I think just putting down some like sea lanterns or shroom lights or whatever you have, it's going to be easier. It shouldn't take you more than about maybe 20 minutes or so to do. Okay, now next thing we want to do is we want to take our items way up in the air. Now, technically, if you kind of know what you're doing with this, have it go wherever you want to. Me, just make it simple for you guys in the video, we're just gonna kind of bring everything to the end of our little platform and then take it up. So put some type of like stone block right here in the middle for now as a temporary block, and get yourself a bunch of kelp, a stack or so of it, right? We need to continue water flow down this way actually. So let's go ahead, let's put a button down here, put our ice down here and here. Let's put a water bucket right beside it here. Water's going to flow in this way. And actually, this is not going to work. We need to go back a little bit. Let's go back to here. Let's put our ice back here because we're going to need to flow water again. We need to stop it right here. So this needs to be ice. This needs to be ice. This can be a water bucket because we just need one last little flow to get items right here. So we can cover this over and we can make ourselves a little chute that goes up and then build this thing up to about 10 blocks above your platform. So we made our platform at Y level 90. We want to take this to about Y level 100. Okay, this is future Prowl going back in time because I told you to take this thing up to Y level 100. That's a little too high. Y level 96 will be good. Now, once you're up here, put a water bucket right here. Wait for it to go down a little bit before you go down. But then you can just go ahead and ride it on down. Once it gets down here, you can take your kelp and then you can just build it all the way up. What that does is it turns all of the blocks into water source blocks. So now instead of that being flowing water going down, it is all water source blocks all the way through. And then once you're done with that, get yourself back down to the bottom here. You could break yourself in, that's fine. I'm gonna knock that out. All the kelp's gone. I'm gonna put a piece of soul sand right there. I'm gonna close this thing back up. We now have a water elevator that goes all the way up, meaning that if we drop an item, there it goes. You can see it's actually shooting up faster than I am. And there it is. It's made its way to the top. So now before we do anything with this, we probably need to get our platform. So let's go ahead to our little spot where we say we were going to AFK. Let's make ourselves a platform. Now, the next thing we're going to do is the storage. I'm going to keep things simple. We're not going to be using an item sorter or anything like that. If you want to do some type of item sorter, I recommend looking up a tutorial on that. I even have a few on my tutorial list, as well as do my Bedrock guide series. We're just going to dump everything in the chests. And this thing, it's really fast. So what we're going to do, I've kind of laid out how many chests I want across. I got 8, and I did start one over from the edge here. So what we're going to do, I think, is we're going to kind of come over here this way, and I'm going to build up like a pillar or something to 1 block below this. And we need to run hoppers across, just like this. And we want those hoppers to start in line with the chests. And then right here in the middle, we're going to put a piece of ice because we need to flow items across. We're going to use water all the way down through this. So I'm going to make this water flow just by simply coming over here. We're going to kind of end it here, but we're going to do something else with it here in a moment that you guys will see. I need to do the same thing here, right? We need a floor, something right here. I'm going to close this side off. You're going to see that when I break this, the water, it flows across. It's not enough to make it all the way, so that's why we put this little break in. We could put a button right here. They should slide across just fine. We're going to put water again right here, and it's going to go and bring all the items all the way across here. Now that we have everything going over, we do want 1 line of hoppers facing forward before we start going in the chest. So put yourself some temporary blocks right here and just face hoppers forward in all those spots. Okay, so now that we have this thing built at the right height, I caught myself. You guys saw the correction I put in because Y level 100 was way too high. So this was at Y level 96 now. Now we can kind of put in our chests. So we're going to have, let's see how high we're going to take it. Take it right here. So the row of chests is going to be 4 blocks tall or 4 chests tall. And then we can just simply run hoppers into the back of all of them. Okay, so all of our chests are in. I've marked off the kind of center of the platform. For the most part, we should be fine to walk anywhere around here, though. Also, I added a ladder in because you're going to want to be able to get up and down here, right? If you have an elytra, it's probably easier to just fly. But now this part right here, what happens if we get too many drops? What if we AFK here for a long time and this thing fills up? Because it's going to fill up fast. Well, first of all, you may want more storage than this. This is not a lot for this system. This generates a lot of drops very quickly. So we need an overflow. Let's go ahead and let's come over this way. Now you can put this wherever you want to. I'm going to run it over here just because I'm trying to like use all my space properly here. And actually we're going to run it a couple more spots. We're going to run it right here. And I think I do want to continue to run the water this way too. So let's go ahead. Let's knock these out. Let's put this right here and let's put a button there. And then let's block this off at the end. So now we have water flowing. The drops are going to come through here. They're going to go in all of the hoppers for all the chests first. If they're all filled up, the drops are going to come across here. They're going to go across this little hopper line right here. And they're going to end up at the end of the line right here. And we're gonna put everything into a dropper. Let's do this because we know this thing can move at 4 times hopper speed. Let's put one here, 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 and here. 4 of them facing down. Let's build a little like capsule for it. Like this and like this. We put some lava in here, just like this. Close it back off. Now, items that get shot down in there, they're going to get destroyed. And we just want to make it so anytime any one of these guys has a item in it of any sort, we want it to be able to shoot that item back out. Let's go to the first dropper here. Give ourselves a little bit of room. And then we're going to come out of that comparator right there that'll see anytime there's an item in this dropper. We're going to put a repeater, redstone dust, and we're going to make it do this. So now, like if this has an item in it, you can see it's making a clock. Now I want to be able to set off any of these droppers anytime that they have an item inside of them. So I'm just going to put a solid block across here and run the redstone dust across here. Now what should happen is if I throw this redstone dust in, all of them get ticked and it throws everything down and good. So I don't need any of these extra blocks. I was able to make this thing a little bit smaller. Oh. Whew. I was able to make this a little bit smaller than I thought I was going to. So now all of our items are getting destroyed. We still need experience points though. So we're going to want to bring our experience points somewhere right about here, right? So I'm just going to run a little tube that's going to bring these guys across. What if we drop it down over here? So it should be simple enough. We'll just add in a little floor. We will come out here. Maybe we drop it right here. If I knock this out, the water should drop down there, right? So we can plug that hole. That means the experience points, they're going to come down. They're going to drop. They're going to land right here. They're going to follow this water over, which is good. We need to add in like the whole ice thing one more time, right? Let's do it right here. Put our water right here. And then bam. We should end up getting all of our experience points right here. They'll stop right there and they'll come to us. And then just to make sure none of the experience points fly out where we don't want them to, we'll just go ahead and we'll cover that up. Let's cover all this up. Accidentally got rid of the water right there. That's not good. This is always the hardest part to explain is like water flow, because it's very like just make it work however you need it to work. Hopefully I've explained how to make water flow work and the way that like experience points and items move. So you guys can kind of figure it out on your own, because you may want to do this your own way anyways. But the experience points, they're going to travel just like items. Now there is one big bug with Bedrock Edition. You don't actually see the experience points when they're traveling through water. So when we turn this thing on, it's going to make it look like the experience points aren't coming down to us, but they actually are. I don't know what else to tell you other than that's just how it works. Also, it kind of sucks that we have to go all the way down here to turn our system on and off. So we may want some way to get power to this, right? We might want to run power right here and then redstone dust like up. Now, luckily, the way that redstone dust works is it can travel up glass really easy, right? Like we can do this. Okay. We can do this and then this, and we can just kind of stair step it up. Main problem being is eventually we're going to need a repeater, maybe a couple. I'm gonna go ahead and get that added in now. And as you can see, I made a little tower. It's not pretty. Maybe you'll have a better way to do it. Observers is usually really easy. I didn't want to use observers because not everybody gets a lot of them early and you would need quite a bit of them. We basically ran a little line down, or you could just go down bottom, turn it on and just come up. Like whatever works for you is fine. I just wanted to make it convenient and have the lever up here. But as you can see, if I put myself into survival mode right now, we are at 0 levels. I've cleared out all the XP. If I flick the lever here, you're going to see the system turns on and it starts killing all the guardians. You're going to see that little like laser beam come to you. It's just because you're doing damage to them. They can't actually reach you. They can't actually hit you. You're not at risk at all. And we have experience points. I think those ones are experience points left over because it takes a little while for the XP to get to you. The XP takes longer to travel than the drops do. So the drops, they're coming in right now. Here in a moment, we should start getting a burst of XP from our first guardians that were killed. And then from there, they're going to keep spawning in. And we're going to keep getting experience points. That guy right there, he's really fighting, isn't he? There they go. And here comes our experience points. And it doesn't take long, maybe about a minute to get from level 0 to level 30. You're going to want to make sure you're holding a looting 3 sword, because since you're killing with tridents, you do get the looting effect. But as you can see, like the XP is flowing in. The drops, they're flowing in too. It's coming quick. This one is non-stop. This one is non-stop. It is really working extremely quickly. You can see with the XP, like I said, you see XP orbs down there. They're not actually down there. That's not actual experience points. It's just a visual glitch. You are getting all the XP. There's none of it's getting left over as long as you're doing your water streams right. And now you can sit here, you can AFK, and you can get yourself a ton of guardian drops to make yourself sea lantern or prismarine, or even to get some fish from this, right? So all those things are pretty great, and you'll get yourself a ton of experience points where you can put yourself a little enchanting station over here or an anvil to be able to make yourself enchanted gear, or just simply mend up all of your armor and weapons and tools you have if you have mending on it. So hopefully this gets you guys everything that you want to get out of it. It's been super awesome. I have another one coming out too. Version number 2 is going to be a lot more simple than this one, but it is not going to be using trident killers. It will be drop killing the guardians. So the benefits are that the second one, it's going to be easier to make. It's going to get you about this many drops. It's going to get you, I think, close to the 30,000 per hour that we're getting here, but you're just not going to be getting any experience points from it. And a lot of the storage and stuff is probably going to happen down below. I need to design that still. I haven't gotten to all the details on it yet. If you enjoyed today's tutorial, please click the like button and leave a comment down below. It helps out a ton with the YouTube algorithm. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. You can get a copy of this world and a link down in the description below. Thank you so much for watching. I appreciate all of you, and I'll see you next time.